Hi guys, welcome to Beginner's Watercolor Urban Landscapes. So I'm going to show you the drafting portion of class here. I'm using normal paper and a really heavyweight pencil, but you're going to be using watercolor paper and a very high H pencil. I'm just doing it on plain paper first because if I make the marks as lightly as I need to when I'm working on the watercolor paper, they'll be too heavy. We want to make very light marks. So I'm just showing you this dark, but you should be working very, very light. You're first going to tape down your page, and then we're going to divide it into 3 sections. So this is going to help us center the details. So I'm just doing this by eye here. This is just going to help me look at my reference a little bit more clearly and identify key features a bit more clearly. Okay, next I've got to establish the vanishing point. So it's going to be around here. And from here, it's fairly simple. I'm going to need some sort of straight edge, and I'm going to map out the rooftops. So I'm going to go all the way up here. I'm also going to map out where the tops of the windows are, so a few marks coming up like this. Looking for the tops and the bases of the buildings is the most important part of this process. If you get just a few lines in, you don't need to get lines for every single thing, but you just want a general sense of what's going up, what's going down. And these thirds should help you recognize where I'm placing different parts within these squares if you're following along. Once we've put a few drafting lines down, we're going to start mapping out the buildings. So as buildings get further away, they get smaller. So all the details are going to be smaller here. So I'm going to have way off in the distance the buildings really little. Then they're going to jump up in height, a bit closer to here. Going to move in on the sides. There's a little bit of a sidewalk coming this way, so I'm just going to imagine a line coming out from here. And I'm going to mark out some windows coming up here. Some windows coming up here. And the tops and bottoms of any architectural features that I see. Next, I'm going to place the figure. So everyone's head, let's see, everyone's head is going to be at the same level, which is something I find interesting. So I'm going to make everyone's head just about at the vanishing point. We'll have one person who is close to us. To get the perspective on the person, just figure out where the top and base of the legs are. And then this person's further back, but his head's going to be along the same line. He's on a phone. And there's someone far back here, also on a phone, and they're smaller. And then super small way in the back. I'm also going to put some posts in here. By looking for the tops and bottoms of the posts. And drawing these back. And then the tiles we can do a bit later after painting in pen. Those are going to be really fun. And we just want to get kind of these vertical eaves here. So we've got a couple of really sharp rooftop shapes coming across from the top here, and very vertical lines coming down here. Okay, and at this point I might have some masking fluid available in class, we'll see. Depends how many people show up. But at this point you want to think about what areas you're going to leave light. And I'm going to do this in a looser style without masking fluid for the purposes of this demonstration. But you could also at this stage put masking fluid along the sides of some of the tiles that are going to go this way. You just have to do that with, if you're following along at home, a sharp-tipped masking fluid. So Winsor & Newton, the sharp needle tip, you can make very fine lines here, but just make sure they follow perspective. But for the purposes of class, we might use a candle. I'm going to suggest we just use looser brush strokes. So now I'm going to move on to the watercolor paper where I will have sketched this out.